Hi, I'm Herrick Kimball, and today in this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the world was like many years ago before I show you the project that I'm going to focus on in this video. That's because it's all related. When I was a kid back in the 1960s and I went to school, my mother would make my lunch and she would make me a sandwich and she would wrap it in wax paper. And she did that because there were no little plastic sandwich bags like we have today. And I remember when those sandwich bags first came on the market. It was probably the late 1960s. And they didn't have a Ziploc. That came later. They were just a bag that you would open a flap like and stuff the sandwich in. And that was a big deal. And I remember also that there were no plastic garbage bags. There were no plastic garbage cans either. And people would have the galvanized garbage cans and they would put their garbage in the house into like the brown paper bags that they'd get at the grocery store. Then they would take those out and throw them in the galvanized can. So yeah, I'm kind of an old timer, and I also remember way back then that baby food came in little glass jars. And people saved those little glass jars because they would find uses for them. A lot of the men, usually in those days, who had home workshops, they would take those baby food jars and they would screw the lid on a board over their workbench, and then they would screw the jar up into the lid and put different hardware pieces in the little jars. All of which leads me now to this right here that I'm going to focus on in this video. I wanted to have something that revolved, okay, that turned. So I could have it up and I could spin it around and I could have my jars with my various little screws and other things. And it turned out that I had these jars. And I don't know why I have these jars, but I've had them for a long time. These have got to be 20 years old at least. They were up in the attic of this shop when I cleaned it out a year ago. 8-ounce flint glass Paragon jar. Nice jars with metal caps. I must have had some idea that I was going to do with these jars. That's what I do. I get ideas and then I buy whatever I need for the ideas, and then the idea doesn't work out or I don't follow through. That's just me. They are 2 inches in diameter and they're 4.5 inches high. I have this concept for a stack of these, a stack of them here in my workshop right over there. I'll show you when the time comes. And I want to show you how I made these. I've got 3 of them now. I'm going to make one more. And then in my next video, I'll show you how I'm going to hang these so that they spin freely. I haven't totally figured that out yet, but I have an idea, but that's the next video. Alrighty, so I'm going to tell you what I've done here on Brother Workmate. I needed to get 12 equal sections on the circle of plywood. And this circle is 14 inches, and it's 14 inches only because I have a spot where I'm going to put this where 14 inches is the ideal size. Okay, it could be any diameter you want, and then you need to figure out the layout of your jars, whatever jars you're using around that perimeter. Well, it turned out that there are 12 jars in one of these boxes, and 12 jars fits around the perimeter quite nicely. It gives me a little bit of room to get my fingers in between, which is what you want. You don't want these tight like that. You got to have a little space to get under them, to get around them. All right. So 12 was a good size. I kind of spaced them around, got an idea, and then I wanted to get 12 equal segments, 12 equal sections, so that these were spaced very nicely around the perimeter. And to do that, I got a piece of cardstock. I traced the plywood onto the cardstock right here, and then I went to the video that tells how to divide any size circle into any number of equal segments. That's a video that I made, And it tells very simply in 4 easy steps how to do that. And so I did that here on this cardstock. And then I took a piece of tape and I taped, well, I should tell you, I used an awl to get this cardstock centered on my plywood disc. Then I taped it, one piece of tape right there. And I went around the perimeter with my pencil and I marked each of these spots, okay? And then I took the tape off, the awl away, and I had the marks out here, okay? I'm just making this quicker for you by explaining what I did. Then I connected each of those marks to the center. I need that radius all the way around. Okay, then it's time to put these on. But I want to bring them in from the outside perimeter. So I'm going to use the old carpenter's trick that I learned from Bob, the old carpenter, and I show this in a video. So you just use your finger gauge in this instance, and you can get about a 1/2 inch, I would say, all the way around to bring the lid of the jar in from the outside just a little. Okay, let's see if we meet up like we're supposed to. Now I need to put these in here, and I'm going to use these little pan head screws. They're 3/4 of an inch long, and I am going to put 3 screws in each lid. To begin with, though, I'm only going to put 1 screw in each lid. What I'm going to do first with every lid is screw or drill one hole, 1/8 of an inch, by the way. And I'm going to place my screws not clustered in the center, but spaced out. Okay, I don't want to get into this rubber seal. I don't want to interfere with the threading of the glass into this. But I'm going to keep these 3 screws out like that. But just 1 screw for now. Alrighty, there's 12 lids. And now I'll bring these lids all over into their sections around. So what I'm doing is I'm getting this centered by eye between this line and this line, and I'm bringing the lid out to this line right here, and I've got the screw facing towards me right here, the hole, and I'm just gonna give that a bop. Okay, so I have a starter hole for each of those, and I'm going to put just 1 screw in. So I'm getting the screw started, and I'm indexing into that little hole. And I'm just getting that started. If I were to drive this all the way down, these loose lids would bounce over and fall on the floor, and that would be counterproductive. Okay, now what I'm going to do is position each one. I'm going to eye it up in between these 2 lines, right there, get it centered by eye, and then sock this down. Remove that. Okay, do that all the way around. This is the last one. Okay, so I've got those now. What I'm going to do is go right on through and get my holes started for the other 2 screws, so that I have 3. Now it's just a matter of screwing in all of these. There, that's all she wrote on that. Thread our little jars on there. Yeah, they're actually big jars. They're about twice the size of the old baby food jars, maybe more. If you don't have several boxes of jars like this, just hanging around your place, go to estate sales. They're going to turn up. Watch eBay. You might find a good deal on them there. Okay, so at this point, I've got 4 of these. I've got a total of 4 times 12, 48 jars for small parts for getting organized. And this is half the project done. Now I got to figure out how to hang these up and so that they spin freely and they're good and solid. And I think I can do that, and I will show you that in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you then.